So dude, tell me like who's Dan?
Who's Dan? A lot of people know me as a software guy. So I run the largest CEO coaching company called SaaS Academy in the world for software entrepreneurs. They have like 1,000 active clients. Father of two Irish twins, 11 months apart, which is a gnarly thing to experience. It's like having it's like having twins but two births, so it's kind of harder, I would say, because that was crazy.
Like you have those for kids, or you
Yeah, I have
are
two
one?
boys. No. I have two boys, Max and Noah, and they're Irish twins. So there was a 2-year period, which was bananas because we were living in San Francisco. My wife got pregnant, decided that we're going to have our kids in Canada, moved to Canada. But like right before she got pregnant, I started Clarity. She started her company called Onboardly. It was an agency. Had two kids, we were building our summer home in Canada, moved into that home. Then when we found out we were having our second, decided we're going to build our like a more forever home. So then built another home while we had the second kid, while we were running two companies in a 2-year period. So there was like this, and a lot of the reasons I wrote that book was because I almost went insane. Like it was like anxiety attacks and it just forced me to have to like understand how to operate at a different level. But yeah, a lot of people know me for sure, the software guy. I'm also like, I just love life. I love entrepreneurship. Yeah, I'm just like a big pro entrepreneurs. I think it's cool that entrepreneurs wake up every day to make the world a better place. Like if you think about it, you're not an entrepreneur if you don't create value. Directly, creating value means doing something positive for somebody else. So every entrepreneur that wakes up, that creates a business, goes to work, is literally making the world a better place for everybody. It doesn't matter if it's the lawn guy or the software guy or the agency person, like that's kind of a cool thing. So I'm just like a big fan of seeing people create and build. But that's who I am.
Yeah, cool, man. You have like you were like well decorated. You literally, I mean, my understanding is your company started when you were 24. You had to exit just a couple years later, and then like now you've like exited multiple companies, and that's like what you teach on.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because I just live in this world of software and exits that I don't think it's impressive. It's just kind of what we do. But yeah, I built 3 companies and exited them in 10 years, which was bananas. That I did like, I remember there was a moment I'm on my boat on the East Coast and my co-founder calls me and he's like, the deal just closed. And I had a moment because I was like, this is crazy.
That was
that would have been Flowtown.
Okay.
Yeah, so Spheric happened 24 to 28. Like super struggle. Became a millionaire when I was 27. That kind of created the baseline of my wealth. Then I moved to San Francisco from a small town in Eastern Canada. And I honestly went there on sabbatical. Like I wasn't working, I wasn't starting a company. Lasted about a year, met my co-founder.
Let me be around these types of people.
I want to study. I want to like literally go to the Disneyland for geeks and figure out one thing. How do they do distribution? I'm a software programmer. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a salesperson. Like none of those things. I was writing code, managing engineering teams. And I moved there to like study what now is called growth hacking, but back then a lot of us called marketing-based or metrics-based marketing. So like Sean Ellis, who coined the term growth hacker, was a friend of mine, and we would just talk about metrics-based marketing, like essentially message market fit, like flow. Like it's super nerdy, but like psychology plays such a big part to marketing and like product onboarding and activation and what's called time to first value. Like how do you get somebody that's aware of your product to sign up? And then in that flow, what's called the first time user experience, a FTUI, it's actually a term.
Okay.
How do you get them to experience value? And that, if you do it well, and then you have some kind of viral loop in the product. So like if you're FreshBooks, you send an invoice to another business, but then in the bottom line, it says powered by FreshBooks. Or if you're Intercom chat software, I was just gonna say that because I'm an investor in Intercom. Udemy, you have a course platform. So like I was an investor in Udemy and helped them. So like I went there to learn growth, and I thought it was all a marketing thing, and I realized that it's a product thing. So it's actually a fascinating journey for the first 12 months of like thinking I'm gonna go learn marketing and sales and realizing that product is number one, right? And building great product was the skill, and I used to do enterprise software, which is like no requirement that it works good, because it's like they buy it and then you just build it and then the employees have to suffer. Like that's enterprise software. But consumer level, like think of like Amazon. If the product isn't clear, if the flows aren't well designed, people don't spend money, the company doesn't make money. If Dropbox doesn't have an easy way to install itself, connect to your file system, share and synchronize files, you don't use it, it doesn't grow. So I learned that a lot of marketing is really product. And that's, so then I built this company called Flowtown, which is a social marketing platform with my co-founder, Ethan. And I'd given myself 10 years. So I said, I'm going to move to Silicon Valley and it would be cool, maybe somehow start a company, raise venture capital, do that whole Silicon Valley story and exit. And I thought, okay, 10 years feels like a good timeline. I'm committed to that. And we did it in about 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember like sitting on my boat, Ethan calling me going like, deal just closed, wires are sent. And I'm like, this is nuts. Like, yeah, it was surreal for a lot of reasons. One, Ethan was, I think Ethan's like 7 years younger than me. I'm 43 now, so he'd be 37. But at the time, I was like 31, I think, and he would have been 20.
Early 20s.
Late 20s, yeah, late 20s. And I was just really pumped because like building Flowtown was a tough scenario because we were co-founders, but I had made money and he had literally none. Like one time I went to his house on a Sunday and I was like, let's go to the office because it was like walking distance from our houses. And he goes, I can't, I got to do laundry. And it's like, dude, we just raised $1 million in capital. If you can't pay for wash and fold, like we need to talk about time. And that was actually a cool experience for me because the previous company, I learned how to work really hard, 100-hour week, output, whatever, but it actually cost me my engagement. So I used to be engaged to another woman that's not my wife today. And I came home and she just dropped the ring on the counter and said, I'm done. Yeah, but I learned that muscle. So when I moved to San Francisco and I met Ethan, we had this crazy idea for Flowtown. I was like, you be the CEO. I'll be, at first it was a non-employee co-founder because I didn't want to work. I was just like, I'll be the investor, but he was smart enough to like slowly pull me in. So it was kind of a neat experience for me to actually like have somebody else be CEO of a company, support him, mentor him. And 2.5 years later, like made millions of dollars. And I was really more happy for him because it was like, now he could live the life, because it was I felt guilty, man. He's living like this like super poor San Francisco young 20-year-old life, and I was not. And it was like tough for me to like, every time we went out, I'd have to buy stuff, or like when we traveled, I paid for it, or all this stuff. And like now, now he's done another company called Digit, which was a saving app. It was a finance app that automatically took money out of your bank account that you wouldn't notice and save it. Digit.co. He just sold it for $280 million.
Wow. Thanks for checking out this short clip from the full podcast I did. If you want to see another clip, go ahead and click the link right here. Or if you want to see the full podcast, you can click the link right here and check it out.